After reading Dr. Jane Nelson's article, I learned that this philosophy is not in line with the way that I use discipline in my classroom. Um, it has not been because we typically use just straight punishment for things, and a lot of times it's actually not even related or reasonable. A lot of times our administration likes to use dirty duty for tardies or small things, and dirty duty could be anything like cleaning the desk or cleaning the boards or anything like that. So that is not in a line with the article by Dr. Nelson. Now, I say that I do enjoy being positive with my students, having a positive outlook with my students, and that is in line with the way I teach, just not in line with the way that I punish my students. Um, I really liked in Dr. Nelson's article, punishment often stops misbehavior, but it hardly ever motivates students to do better. Instead, they are motivated to rebel, get revenge, or be more careful about being caught. I really like the last part. That's exactly what I found is they try to do their best to not get caught after having to do something like a dirty duty. Um, as long as long as we're on the lines of the positive aspect, how could this approach be combined with the reading we did this week in When Teaching Gets Tough by Alan Mindler. Sorry. Um, the positive aspect is found on page 44 under the section "A Baker's Dozen Ways to to Set Kids Up for Success." This may not have to do with discipline, but it does have to do with the positive nature of the education system, being positive and helping lead them in a positive way instead of being so negative. Mindler also writes a section, sorry, on page 47 that is titled "Keep Your Focus on the Outcome." By keeping our focus on the outcome of discipline, this will help, according to Dr. Nelson. And Mindler in this section is actually talking about in the classroom with difficult students, how to get them to do an assignment or something like that, keeping the focus on the outcome. But it does tie in very well with the discipline aspect. The other books, the other readings, Robert Marzano in Classroom Management That Works talks about 5 steps to assertive discipline. And the first step is focus on establishing a positive climate for discipline. Dr. Nelson discussed creating solutions to each problem. So if tardiness is the problem, or chewing gum is a problem in the classroom, then focus on the positive solution. And setting up a positive climate for discipline is definitely a very good way of creating solutions and positive solutions. I like the quote in Dr. Nelson's article: "To get them to do better, we have to make them feel worse." That's a question. If we don't have a positive climate for discipline, then we are going to make them feel worse about the action, and that's not what we're striving for. We're striving to make our students better as people, better as better educated, and just better all around. Another thing Mindler said, it talks about is tangible recognition involving some concrete symbol of appropriate behavior. If we recognize the appropriate behavior by the student, then they're going to want to do the right thing. Now, that doesn't bring in the whole, if they've already done something bad, how are we going to approach it? But by recognizing the appropriate behavior, we are promoting our expectations for our students to do the right thing. And then finally, in the handbook for classroom management that works, Dr. Marzano and the rest discussed the reactions to reinforce appropriate behavior, giving short verbal affirmations, smiles, winks, and other signals, and catching students being good. There again, that's the same thing, the same concept. If we can catch our students doing the right thing, then hopefully, and praise them for it, then hopefully we'll be able to get them away from doing the negative behaviors that we don't like, and we won't have to worry about discipline. The third and final question are, what are the advantages or disadvantages of using a method like this? The advantages are the fact that we're going to have a very positive classroom. We're going to have a positive outlook on everything. Even though we have a negative behavior, we're going to have a positive outlook. In the Discipline Help website earlier this week, when I was doing that assignment, it said, don't dislike the student, dislike the behavior. We can always dislike the behavior, but if we're keeping positive, then our students are going to be enjoying being in our classes, and they're not going to be as big of a distraction or big a problem as if they didn't enjoy being in our classroom. So we've got to accept the behavior. A disadvantage is trying to figure out positive ways to punish these misbehaviors. Find ways that are not going to make them feel bad. I really enjoyed Dr. Nelson's article. However, I struggled to think of ways just right off the top of my head that would be able to help us as teachers to define positive punishments for these students. I really like the idea. I look to take this to my classroom and not have a dirty duty or things like that. So I believe that answers the question. So this philosophy may not be in my classroom right now, but I look to add it. Thank you.